welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and I scheduled this pretty last minute, kind of impromptu. So I don't know, I might be here by myself, but that's okay because these projects need to get made, and I figured I would pop on live since I already have tutorials on how to make the book box. And that way, if anyone is available to chat, maybe we can just have a nice little craft and chat. So if you are joining live, I hope when you come in, you'll just say a nice hello, let me know where you're joining from. And if you're catching me on replay, thanks for catching this video. And today, what I am going to do is, well, I have a few things that I want to make, and I'm definitely going to start with this. So this is the Eileen Hall book box. It's a scoreboards die, and it's really easy and fast to put together. And I've made a couple of these now, and it's really the perfect size if you like to give away card sets, specifically USA2 or smaller, because it will perfectly fit a set of USA2 size cards with their matching envelopes. And I don't know in terms of the maximum because it does depend on the thickness of your cards, but we just packaged up a set of, I think, 8 cards and envelopes, so I know it can fit at least that many. And I've made 2 already to package up 2 sets of cards, and then I need at least 1 more, possibly 2 more of this size. So I'm gonna, at least for this stream, I'm gonna aim to at least get 1 of these made, and then we'll see where we're at, because if I'm here by myself, then I don't really mind, but I also might just complete the rest kind of offline. So that's my plan, but I do have some other book box style of dies that are kind of neat too. And this one is one that I have not made. So this one is called the Skinny Mini book box. So this one's kind of interesting. I haven't made it before, but my assumption is that it's gonna be, it looks, at least just from the packaging, and it can be hard to tell these things in packaging until you actually make them or look up the actual sizes, but it looks like it might be taller than this version, which I think came out first. And it also looks like it's not as thick. So we'll see. Maybe this would be good for gifting mini slimline cards. I'm curious to do that one. And then here's another book box like die. This one I think is retired at this point, because it did come out a good long while ago. And this one is the trinket box. Hi, Heather. Thanks for popping in. How are you feeling? I hope you're doing okay. Um, so this one's pretty cool. It's small, but it's the perfect size for 6 Ferrero Rocher chocolates. So so I made this, and I've actually used this to make a mini album too. So you can do a lot with these. So these are the 3 book box style of scoreboards dies that I have. But like I said, I have some gift cards, or not gift cards, but card sets that I want to give away. So this one is the one that I'll be making today, because it really is the perfect size for it. And in fact, so what I like to do when I get these is I like to actually cut out at least the cover or any of the major pieces, and I just like to keep a piece, this is just copy paper, but I like to keep it as reference just so that I know, the size of the project that, that these dies will create. And then I keep all of those together, so anytime I wanna make a project, I have an idea of, because it can be hard sometimes to find the final, like, assembled size of these things. Yeah, Heather, I'm glad that you caught me too. This is kind of last minute. I didn't schedule this. I just have some Christmas makes that I need to work on. So I figured I would just pop on live and do it. And if anyone is here to join, that would be great because then at least there's somebody I can chat with. Um, because I already have tutorials for this on my channel. And I'm glad I hope you're feeling okay. I know that you had a little bit of some drama this morning. But at least you have your crafty haul, right? Or did you not make it to do the pickup? Because that would be a bummer. Um, okay, so what I have here, this is mat board. So like really, really thick stuff. And it's actually the same sort of thing that when you take a photo or a piece of art to get framed by like a professional framer, they'll cut that like that mitered edge, and this is the thing that kind of frames your art or your photo so that it's not touching the glass on top of it. So it's really nice stuff, and Sizzix does sell something like this. I think they call theirs, I don't remember actually what they call theirs, but theirs is white on both sides, and this I got off of Amazon, and it's really nice because it's white on the one side, but it is colored on the other side. So it that way it kind of saves me a little bit of paper because I don't have to worry about putting any pattern paper or anything on this side. So I'm gonna use this side for the inside of the box, which you're barely gonna see anyways. So I feel like if I don't decorate it, it's just fine. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna trim this down a little bit just so that it's in smaller, more manageable pieces because I need to cut two of them, one for the top of the box and one for the bottom of the box. Or if you're thinking of it like a book, one for the front cover and one for the back cover. And it's because it's thick. If you had an old paper trimmer or something like super heavy duty, you could definitely um, use that. And I don't mean old paper trimmer, but like a trimmer with like an old blade that you don't mind getting dull, because this is pretty thick stuff and it might wear out your blade pretty quickly. But if you use an older blade, just take a couple of passes at it, then it'll cut right through. But I'm just gonna use my utility blade and a steel ruler. Oh, good, you did get your stuff, Heather. Awesome. That's all that matters. No, no, your health is all that matters, Heather. The stuff will be there. But I'm glad you have it though, because that means you can work on the 50 cards that you're making, which is quite a feat. So I'm gonna cut this. It doesn't really matter which side because I'm cutting pieces a little bit bigger than what I need. And if you use something like this, which is heavy duty, change out your blades, keep them nice and sharp because that's what's going to prevent accidents. And don't push down, don't put a ton of pressure because it's when you're pushing down hard that if you do slip, that's when you might, cause more damage or accidents. But just, take it slow, do a couple passes, and you'll be able to feel when it releases. And be careful. Yeah. I know I probably freak people out when I, use my big ol' box cutter. Um, but, this is easier for me than using the tiny one. Like this tiny one, this is better for, um, little things. Yeah, yeah, Heather, you're totally right, and that might happen, and that's why I always say, if you keep your blade really sharp, then you're not gonna be as tempted to, really push down hard, and so, in any direction, really, and so I just like to do a lot of light, um, cuts, and not try to get it to go through in one pass. So I've got my two pieces here. Those are for my front and back covers. There's the die is you can't see anything, but this is a basically a Biggs die, so it's that thicker kind, and it's got a I don't know if it's just I don't know if it's stronger or thicker or whatever, but it's heavier duty metal, that will cut through, and this being a scoreboards die, it's gonna cut and score at the same time, and there are multiple different, pieces that are all on the same platform thing. Don't, push onto this because there is a metal blade. I don't think it's super sharp, but it's embedded in there. Across the top, you're not gonna feel it, but embedded below, the surface is, metal, and that's what's gonna cut your it's what's gonna cut your, pieces, and so I just cut 2 cover pieces, and now I need to cut, the 4 side pieces. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I don't have, pre-cut versions of it, so I'm just gonna give myself a mark, and it ends up being about 3 inches. So give myself 2 marks because I'm gonna need 4, and on here is 2 because there are 2 different sides, the 2 sides, and then the top and the bottom. And so I'll go ahead and do the same thing, and I need my T-square ruler. Just want to make sure I'm cutting doesn't have to be super straight because I'm giving myself more room than I need, but this just helps. Heather, are you crafting or are you just resting? I hope you're resting. Yeah, I hear you on that. But I actually I love your comment that you need to clean and organize your area before you start again. Um I know myself pretty well, and so I know that if I have a lot to clean up, that can really demotivate me to actually craft. So I've gotten into the habit, and I'm pretty glad for it. I've gotten into the habit of actually just cleaning up after myself after I'm done crafting, and that way I have a clear desk. Like pretty much anytime I come into my craft area, so it's always ready for me, um, and that definitely helps me a lot. Because while the mess is there at the end of a project, it's it's a chore, but I mind it a lot less doing doing the cleanup chore at the end of a project, but it can really get in the way of starting a project. So you're so funny. It took a while. Took a while to get into that habit. Won't lie, it doesn't come natural. Um, okay, so I've got my boards. So if folks are new to these steel rule dies or the bigs dies, basically you don't need your main platform. You just need this, a bottom cutting plate and a top cutting plate. And I basically like use the magic mat to cut into now exclusively. They hold up really, really well. They're super fantastic. So these are going to be my two covers, and I'm going to pick some papers for these. So we'll do that in a moment. But in the meantime, I'm going to cut these pieces. So I'm going to cut it with... So here's the thing with the scoreboards dies. I don't know why I'm putting that in air quotes because that is what it's called. But when it scores, especially with mat board, all it's really doing is it's cutting through. So mat board's just like a lot of compressed paper, and so it's cutting through the top layers and partially through the layers in the middle. But it's not, the blade in there isn't raised high enough to cut through, to clear through to the other side. So what I'm gonna do is I want this to be on the inside of the board, of the box, I mean. But the way that this works, the way that the tabs fold is they fold kind of inwards. So I don't want to cut through the inside. I want the white to be on the outside because I'm actually going to cover it on the outside with some pattern paper. I'm not going to attach it right now because it's going to just slice right through that pattern paper, and I prefer not to have that look. So I'm going to cut first. And if it weren't for the fact that I have made two of these, but we already sent those Christmas gifts out. So unfortunately, I can't show you a finished one so that you can see what I'm talking about. But you'll see in a moment after I get this cut. So I think I have to adjust this a little bit because I don't have a Sizzix cutting machine. I actually have the Spellbinders Platinum machine. So every machine is going to be a little different. You might have to play with your sandwich combination a little. Okay, so there we have our pieces. There's two of them. Okay, so then I'm gonna cut the other two side pieces. And then we'll have all four sides of our book box. And these scoreboards dies, they'll go through like a standard size die cutting machine. You don't have to, even though it's long, it's not too wide. So it'll go through like the regular 6-inch, I think, opening. Hi, B&D Crafts and More. Welcome to my impromptu live stream. How's it going? Also, where are you joining from? This didn't cut all the way. I think a portion of my die was not actually over a cutting plate. So I'm gonna tape this down just to make sure it's in the right spot. Yeah, this is heavy duty. This is mat board, Heather, and it's actually what if you ever take like a photo or a piece of art to go get framed, this is what they put around your photo, and that way your photo isn't touching the glass that's over top, the glass of the frame. So, or your art, whatever you're having framed. So it's really nice, thick stuff. And you'll see in a moment when I actually bend it, how thick it is. But it's like, it's super sturdy. Oh, hi, Brian. You're from Mississippi. Welcome. Yeah, I like this stuff a lot for 3D makes like this, and also sometimes they're good for journal or notebook covers, because they're so, like, it feels really substantial. But they're really great for boxes. And so that's why I chose it for the book box that I'm making. So Brian, you're joining a little late, so I just wanted to get you caught up. This is what I'm making. I'm using the Eileen Hall book box scoreboards die, and I don't know, Heather, you might have missed that part too. So that's that's the die that I'm working with, and I love that this die, because it's the perfect size for giving away cards. If you make like sets of cards to give as gifts. And hello, Wing It with Russ. Welcome. Thanks for joining my impromptu live stream. Because this size book box, it's actually perfect. It'll fit USA 2 size cards. And they're coordinating envelopes too. So yes, see, yeah. You hit the nail on the head, Heather. This is the perfect size for that. So I so what I did was, or what I'm trying to do anyways, is for the all the cards that I have, all the holiday cards that I have left over that we didn't, personally sign and send out, we just organize them as sets, and then we just give them away as gifts. so that way, next year it's just a whole new batch of holiday cards that I get to make, and I don't have to kind of carry over cards from year to year. so it's a nice way to kind of clear out not all of my inventory of cards, but like just clear out as much as I can. So I have the 4 side pieces now, and let me show. I'm gonna just score this because I'll show you how it's actually scores the mat board on the other side, but I want to score this side, which is the side that it didn't cut through. So I just scored that with a bone folder. But what the die does, you can see me kind of bending this. What the die does is it cuts through this side. This was the side touching the blade, and so it's got a nice clean edge there, and it's cut mostly through, but on this side it's still, nice and attached. Brian, yeah, this is Graphic 45. It is, I don't know if it's still available, to be honest, but still have the cover. What's it called? This is Nature Notebook. Oh, this is a deluxe collector's edition. So that's Graphic 45's terminology for when it's a previous paper collection that they've released, and they're sort of like bringing it back. But when they bring it back, they don't bring it back 100% as it was originally introduced, because you don't have yeah, Brian, you have a good eye. Do you use a lot of Graphic 45? Because you must be familiar. But they when they bring back the deluxe collector's edition, they don't have the separate patterns and solids, but they have more papers, so I think they actually combine the some of the patterns and solids with some of the original designs. So the reason why I'm scoring it on this end is because my mat board, it cracks when I fold it. So it looks, it anytime you score, it's gonna give you a cleaner edge. So I'm kind of scoring it from the inside, what will be the inside of the box. The die scored it, and this being such heavy material, it basically cut through most of the mat board. And so there are our sides. So we have our 4 sides. It even puts like your little glue tab, and so these will connect up with one another like that, and they're gonna form the walls of our box. So Brian says I do at times. It's kind of expensive for my budget, though. I hear you on that, Brian. Graphic 45, and they don't, I mean, they do have a clearance section, but I find a lot of their like really popular stuff sells out, never even makes it to clearance. So, but sometimes their stuff, when it's on clearance, it can be like 75% off. So it's kind of so that's why I'm always checking their site. I'm a bargain shopper. But I did make it onto their design team this year. So this I got before I joined the team, but now that I'm on the team, I'm really, really fortunate and lucky to get to craft with the latest collections, because that was never the case before. Like, it can be kind of spendy, but they actually just brought down the price of their patterns and paper, or their paper collections, because they're not including the stickers anymore. So you can see I've already crafted with this. I think I made a mini album with this. So now that they're not including the sticker sheets in their paper collections, that has brought the price down a little bit, and I'm okay with not having the stickers. Did you use the stickers, Brian? Anyone else a Graphic 45 fan out there? Okay, so as you ponder that question, I am going to ponder what papers I want to use for my front and back. So the green is going to be on the inside. So I'm gonna cover this with double-sided adhesive, and I'm going to line it with pattern paper. And oh, I like that. Oh, I like that too. This is I'm gonna try to use up my scraps before I oh, that's pretty. Okay. So before I cut into a new sheet. And I have some of these. Oh, I think I'll use this on the front. Let's see. I tried out for Graphic 45's DT the past 2 years. Last year I made a video of a perpetual calendar. Oh, I love perpetual calendars. Okay, I'm gonna pop on over to your channel and check that out. If you want to drop me a link in the chat, please do, so that I can check out your calendar make, because I meant to make some. Well, I made 2 as holiday gifts this year, but I was really aiming to do more than that. It just didn't happen. Um, you know, the best laid plans. So this is the size of the front cover. I just have this cut out of just copy paper, and I have this, which I already trimmed down, I guess, from when I crafted with this paper last. So I think I'm gonna use that on the front cover. So now I want to choose something for my front cover that's going to coordinate well. Picking papers is so hard for me. I don't know if it's easy for everybody else, but I know for me it can be the toughest part. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, and Brian, it's always hard to know like what companies are looking for when they put out a DT call. So I would keep on trying, because I've been rejected from several design teams for which I've applied multiple times. And I don't let that discourage me, because I think what teams are looking for can sometimes be a rotating door too. Because I know if I were running a team for a company, I'd be looking for a variety of different designers with different styles. And so at any given point, that's going to change just depending on who's on the team. And so it might just happen to be the case that at the time that you applied, they already had your style well represented on their team, but that could change at any time. So I would keep on trying out if it's something that you're interested in still. And let's see. So I think this is going to be my front. And for my back, I think I'm going to use this. Yeah, we're just going to go with that. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day, folks. We won't get anything done. All right. So what I'm going to do is, these were the 2 bits of mat board. And what I'll do is, because the scoreboard's die can cut through, super thick material, I am going to line my mat board with the pattern paper and then cut it all at the same time. And that guarantees that it's going to be exactly the right size. And these adhesive sheets, they're kind of great for projects like these where you have a large area that you want to cover with adhesive. And so it's not just convenient and fast, but it's economical too, because I find the larger the sheet, or the larger oh, are we are we on I guess maybe you can't say which team we're on. Oops. I guess I am just not I can kind of guess, but I don't think I'm supposed to say. Is it just us in the chat? Well, thanks, Teamy, for checking out my live stream. I appreciate the support. Does anybody know what I did with my blue cutting mat? I think it just got swept away. Hi, Jay. Thanks for joining. I'm making a book box. So this is from the Eileen Hall book box. It's a scoreboards die. And so I am making it as a so this size box, I was telling the chat earlier that it's really perfect. Oh, and you might actually really be interested, because you sell your cards, and I don't know if you'd ever be interested in selling your cards as sets, and then boxing them in something like this, because the size of this box will actually fit the coordinating envelopes for USA 2 as well. So it's super, super fantastic. And you could probably, kind of sell it as just the box by itself too, if you're selling at the craft fairs. So, yeah. So I'm using for my box, this is mat board. People went crazy over. Oh, cool. So Jay says people went crazy over any set of Christmas cards. Yeah, at your charity sale. They're gonna flip for something like this, because imagine using some Christmas papers, because it's not a lot of paper. So I got this mat board on Amazon, and the set that I got, it has a variety of different colors on one side, and then it's white on the other side. So you just have to cover the white side, and I'm using the colored side on the inside of the box. And so it's like very little pattern paper, and the mat board is so like listen how thick that is. Really, really good for structures and things like boxes. And you'll see, I mean, I'm crafting and talking, so it's gonna take a little bit longer than it would normally, but it's a fast project too. And I mean, I don't know how to price things to sell, but this would, you could charge a pretty penny for it, I'm sure. Because you know why, Jay? Like, not only are the sets in here, and so they get the cards, but the box, when they're done using the cards, the box in and of themselves, in and of itself, is really practical, and they can use it as a trinket box afterwards to store other stuff. And or they could even re-gift it. You could fit some chocolates in here. A lot of my boxes are I think of them in terms of how much chocolate I can fit inside. The very, very beginning of the stream, I was showing the other two boxes, trinket boxes that I have, and this one, it actually is called Trinket Box. This will store or hold 6 Ferrero Rocher chocolates. This one I think is going to be too skinny. This is called the Skinny Mini, so I think it's going to be too skinny to store, or not store, but hold chocolates. And the box that I'm working on here, it's a little bit too short for Ferrero Rocher, but it will store the Lindor's chocolates. Mama Pillow, you're like me. Chocolate is a great rubric for that. Yes, it's my it's my form of measurement. How many chocolates can it store or hold? Okay, it's hard to tell, but these are now lined with double-sided adhesive. And so I am just going to, the Linder Peppermint ones. I always get, I don't think I've tried that yet. I don't think I've tried the peppermint one. I always get that mixed variety pack from Costco, and it does not have peppermint. But I would definitely be interested in trying the peppermint one. I like anything peppermint, like good peppermint bark is also really good. Okay, so I'm just gonna, and this board is cut to bigger than what I need. And I'm not even gonna worry too much about burnishing, because when this goes through and gets cut, there's gonna be plenty of pressure applied to it, so that's gonna burnish really well. So there's that. Yeah, full sheets, Jay. Let's see. This is, well, there's no like packaging per se, but it's these are A4, and so they're double-sided sheets of A4, and it's fantastic for album making, because I really like to have the full coverage of pattern paper, especially on the covers. So I find that when you buy adhesive that's like the larger, like whether it's a wide roll, because I also buy it like this. This is a 5-inch roll. But the larger the roll, the more economical it is, just in terms of like per square foot of adhesive tape. So if you're willing to like cut stuff down, trim them down to size, you can save a little bit of money that way. But this is so convenient. Instead of like a ton of little strips, I can cover the whole thing in one go. So it's economical and it's also more efficient. So just gonna trim. So anybody have fun plans for the weekend? Is everybody crafting? All right, so these are going to be my front and back covers. And I'm going to, on the die here, there's only the one cover piece. So I'll have to cut them one at a time. I mean, this will cut through thick materials, but it's not, I don't want to push it and try to cut through 2 layers of mat board. So I'm just going to do them one at a time. do want to make sure that I'm lining this up, so just want to trim away a little bit here so that I can see the edge of my board. Okay. Let's see. Oh, cool, Jay. You're already getting into your new paper cutter. Yeah, I was saying for earlier, because what I trimmed these down to like a little bit larger than what I needed, but I use this and a steel ruler to cut through it because I don't have the rotary style of paper trimmer that you do, Jay, and so cutting through thick stuff like this could it'll dull a blade pretty fast. But I was telling folks in the chat that if they have like an old blade for their paper trimmer, that it's good to you could use that and just like run it across multiple times. And since the blade is already dull, you don't really have to worry about ruining a fresh blade. So, and it'll get the job done. It might take a couple passes, but it'll get the job done. I'm just a little faster with this. Mama Pillow, mat board, back in the day, I don't know if they still do this, but I don't know if your area has Ben Franklin crafts, but they back in the day, they had because they have this whole framing department, and they used to just put scrap pieces of mat board, because this is the exact stuff that they would use to mat like a photograph or art that you want to get professionally framed. And what they would do is sell scrap packs, but they're scraps because they frame like huge, pieces of art or huge, photo enlargements. And some of their pieces of what they considered scrap were like 8 by 10 or even bigger. So for us paper crafters, that's perfect. And you could buy it for super, super cheap. What I have here, this I bought on Amazon as a pack of, I think there were, I don't know how many, but they're all colored on one side differently, and then it was white on the other side. And I don't think it was that expensive. Sizzix does sell something similar. I don't know if they call it mat boards. I can't remember off the top of my head. But what Sizzix sells is really convenient for their big dies, because it's actually this size. So it's already sized to kind of work with their standard big die, because it's going to be that width. So some of the big dies are like short, and then some are, this one's like an extra long. But I think when you buy their boards, they are long like this. So theirs is a little bit convenient because it's already sort of trimmed to fit. But I don't remember the ones that I bought off of Amazon, being super expensive. So and I guess it just depends on how much you use it. And especially like Jay, if you were to make gift boxes to sell, you're definitely going to make your money back quickly. So yeah, Jay, on this point, the big dies are special for that reason. They will cut through thick materials like this mat board, and they will cut through things like leather, and you could stack multiple layers of fabric even, and it will cut through that as well. You can even get, I think Sizzix even has, big dies like these where it's particularly nice, I think, for quilters, because quilters, you have to cut so many of the same shape. So you could just like have a nice little stack of fabric and like run them through and cut cut everything in one go. So it's really, really nice for that. I don't have any of those specifically, but they have them. They have those dies, and I think some companies will do like mixed media dies that will cut through thicker materials. I don't know that they would cut through mat board specifically. I know this Sizzix one will cut through mat board. So I should ask Michaels. Oh, I didn't know that Michaels did framing. I feel like I should have known that, but yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, so my so it's gonna look like this. So this is gonna be the top of our box. That'll be the inside, and then that will be the back. And this is directional, so I just need to make sure that I'm always orienting it like that. The other thing that I'm gonna need is I need a bit of paper leather. So I'm gonna see if I can find a scrap. What color do I want? All right, so Jay, the name of the die set is it's just Book Box. It's by Eileen Hall, and it's put out by Sizzix. And here's the item number. So 665873. So if you want to check that out. I'm not trying to sell you on it, I promise. I just think because I know you do sell your cards. This is I bought it so that I can package up my A2 cards to give away as sets. So and it fits perfectly with the matching envelopes too. So that's why I thought that you might be able to make good use out of this too, and then you could like charge a little extra for your for your sets. Okay, so now this die, it does have a spine piece, and it measures 6.5, which is the height of the box, by the way, the outside height, by 2.25. So I'm just gonna cut that same size, 6.5 by 2.25, out of my paper leather, because the reason why I'm not using the die is because what the die is gonna do for the spine is the die is gonna, if I use mat board for the spine, it's just gonna score lines like this so that it can actually curve, because the spine piece, if this is our front cover and this is our back cover, the spine is going to connect these two pieces, but it kind of needs to curve a little bit for it to feel like it's a book. And so what the die will do is put in score lines like this, but you're going to see the white core of the mat board, and I kind of don't like that look. So so instead what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut some this goes by a lot of different names. It goes by fabric paper, paper leather, vegan leather. Basically what it is it's a paper product, but it is very, very durable, and it's actually you can like wash it and stuff. It's the same like if you look at the back of your jeans, sometimes they'll have their little tag or their little label that's sewn into the waistband at the top, and it's made out of this. I mean, it looks and it feels a lot like real leather, and sometimes with the really expensive jeans, it probably is real leather, but a lot of times it's just this, which is paper, but like this is durable stuff, which is why it's also super good for spines of books and mini albums and whatnot. Oh wait, I'm missing comments. Let's see. I'm so chatty. I apologize. I remember using those big stays back in high school, mid 90s. I used to help teachers with their Oh yeah. Yeah. Your with their classroom decor. Yeah, you were totally right. There are tons. Sizzix puts out tons because I do think that that's one of their big customer groups is teachers. And when I shop their site, a lot of times in the clearance section, which is where I do most of my shopping, I often see dyes that I'm like, I don't get how or why you would use this on a card. And then I thought about it more and I was like, oh, teachers must use this for like instructional or for like activities and whatnot. Um, oh wow, Brian, you've been crafting for close to 25 years now. That's awesome. Um, yeah, I think it's been that long for me as well, but I haven't been like sharing my crafts or anything for nearly that long. But I've been crafting since I was young and scrapbooking more at the beginning, and I've been doing so much chatting. I forgot my measurements, folks. Sorry. Hold on. I think it's 2.5 by 6.5. 2 1/4. 2 1/4 by 6.5. Let me get this cut, and that way I won't forget again. 2 1/4. This isn't a straight edge, I don't think. So I'm gonna cut a little bit more than 2 1/4 because I don't think I have a straight edge. That's probably 6 inches. I'm gonna get this cut and then I'll go back to chat. 6.5. Whew. Measure twice, cut once. All right, let's get this. So, oh, maybe that was straight. Okay, I'll just cut this down to 2 1/4. So yeah, this is super good stuff, and I prefer to use this for my spine. And let me catch up a little bit. Do you know what machines are compatible with the die? So the oh good, thank you, Brian. You're already answering and helping. I happen to actually so the dies are put out by Sizzix, so and you can fit it in the the smaller one. You don't have to have a A4 platform one. Um, but it'll work through the Journey, the Spellbinders Platinum also. So basically the only thing it won't go through, because this will go through a Cuttlebug too, and I think the only other major brand out there that it won't go through is the Gemini, because of the thickness of it. It won't go through their opening. You're sad that you didn't buy one. Yeah, but Jay, you have the platinum, right? Because it'll go through your platinum too, as well. Um, I crafted as a kid and took like 20-year break. Then I got into painting and oh, cool. You're into painting, neat. What kind of painting do you do? Like acrylics or watercolor? Let us know. And Heather says, sorry, was on a call. Oh, no worries, Heather. We also have Brian's in the chat, and I think Mama Pillow's in the chat too. So, okay, so now this is extra. Okay, so I've got all my pieces now. I have my front cover, which I'll still decorate this up a little bit. And you can look how little pattern paper so far we've used. It's just like these 2 small pieces, a little bit extra on the front, and then we'll do a piece to go around the sides, but not a lot of paper. And great way to give a gift, but it's also like a 2-in-1 gift because the box itself is going to be useful as a little bit of a keepsake too. So I'm going to use a little bit of red line tape on all of these glue tabs that the die cuts. They miter it for us. They score the line. The die really does everything. And if you didn't, and the die does cut this spine piece. It's just I'm choosing not to use it because I just don't like that look. But that's just me. Yay! I'm glad, Jay, I'm glad that you are diving into mini albums. I took a quick look at it, but I couldn't tell what style of spine you used. Are you making them just for yourself or as gifts or to sell? So I'm just gonna get a little bit of, I don't actually like buy red line tape anymore, but I'm just trying to use this up. And the only reason why I don't buy it and prefer it is because it's strong. It's nice, good stuff. It's just I don't like having to pick up my scissors every time. I'd rather just be able to tear through stuff. Renee, welcome. Thanks for popping in and catching my impromptu live stream. I'll answer your question. One moment. Where are you joining us from? Just curious. Okay, so I'm making a book box, Renee, and I am using the Eileen Hall. It's actually called Book Box, and it's a scoreboard die. So it's one of these thicker ones, and I'm making it because this is actually a part of a holiday gift. So I this particular book box, and I'll show you the 2 others that I have, but this one I really like because it oh cool, South Carolina. I'm originally from Virginia, but I'm over here in Washington State, so I'm like clear across the country. But the this particular book box, the size of it's fantastic because it will hold USA2 size cards and the coordinating envelopes with them. So what I'm doing is after my husband and I kind of sorted through all of the holiday cards that I made, and we picked the ones we want to actually sign and send out. Whatever was left over, I don't like to hold on to my cards forever. So what I like to do is just sort them into gift sets, and then we just give it away. So and sometimes like I'll give away a set of holiday cards and then a set of like everyday or the rest of the year occasion cards, whatever I have left over. Um, and I don't like to give out like huge sets either because I know that a lot of people, especially for the holidays, like to kind of pick out their own holiday cards or they have their own holiday cards printed. So I only try to give out like sets of 5 to maybe 8, because then it feels, I think for the people who get it, a little bit more manageable to actually use. It's bound like a mixed media journal, only with liquid glue. Interesting, okay. Oh, you made it as a gift. I have that exact Star Wars paper. I I recognized it right away. I made, little, wire-bound notebooks for my nephews one year with it. Okay, so, now with these pieces, these are our side pieces. There's 2 long ones and 2 short ones. So I've got red line tape on all of the glue tabs, and now I'm just going to attach them, long, short, and then we're really trucking. We're gonna be close to it's pretty quick to put together. If you weren't chatty, like I am, this would go super, super fast. And if you're making to sell, man, you could really churn out a lot of these, especially since the dye is nice and heavy duty. Okay, so okay, Jay, I know that as an accordion style of mini album, which is great because the it's no fancy binding, super easy, fast to put together. So making sure to do this, just to make sure it's nice and flush. And last one. And you could put a little bit of actually I probably should have been doing it this whole time, but this is strong stuff, but usually for construction, I like to use a combination of dry adhesive and wet adhesive for structural things like glue tabs. So probably should have been doing this the whole time, but it's never too late. At least that one tab will have some nice strong glue. All right, so we've got that in, and normally what I do is I just forgot about it this time. But normally when I'm at this point, see how this can go like wonky? Um, it can help to when you get to the point of putting all 4 sides together, instead of doing individual strips like this, which you can still do, but I forgot that the last couple of times I did this, what I did was I waited to this point and then I ran the red line all the way across. That way it kind of holds this angle and it makes it just easier so that it doesn't turn into a parallelogram on you. But it's not too late to do that. So what I'm gonna do is yeah, Jay, no worries on terminology because the thing is that a lot of times the same thing will have multiple names too. So it's hard for anyone to track these things sometimes. I'm just peeling back a little bit of this because I do want to try to get these 2 pieces to so what I'm going to do is I'm using my mat board, I'm lining up this bottom edge with one line, the side edge with the other line. So try to get that as squared as possible. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of red line and connect those two tabs. And that is only to hold that angle. So we're a little bit less likely to go wonky later when we attach this to the inside of the box. So I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Just gonna peel back a little bit of this. And a little bit of this. So I haven't mentioned it because I think most people here might already know, but I have a Facebook group called Crafty Fun with Friends, and we did a collaboration hop of Kendra's card challenge number 8. So if you're on Instagram, you can pop over to my profile if you want. I am LV Handcrafted on Instagram as well, and you can start hopping from my profile, and then as you follow along the hop, you'll actually see all 17 of the card sketches that are part of the Kendra's card challenge number 8. So it was a lot of fun because we're just crafty friends that hang out together in my Facebook group. So this was just a fun collaboration, and it was super fun to see everybody's makes. Let's see. Brian says, earlier this summer, I made a mini album 4x6 with pockets inside the front cover. The entire cover, including the pockets and spine, came from one 12x. Wow, that's cool. Do you have a video, Brian, that we can check out? Is it on your channel? Let us know so we can check that out. I need to find some ink. So let me grab some ink because I want to get rid of some of the white edges here. So I think I want what color? I don't think I have that shade of green. That's going to be a very hard shade of green to match. Ooh, okay, this might be close. That, and then I'll probably need a different ink color for the front and back covers, but we'll get to that when we get to that. 2-sheet wonder mini album. Okay, cool. If you want to drop a direct link to the mini album tutorial, that would be awesome. That way we can pop on over, check out your channel, and check out your makes. I am going to, yeah, that's close enough. It's a little light, but because the mat board is it's colored just on that one side and just at the very surface. Otherwise, it's white core. So I just want to get rid of that white because it's not attractive to me. Jay, you're fast. You've already subscribed to Brian's channel. So Jay, when's your next craft fair? Oh, Are you not? Oh, I didn't realize you weren't allowed to put links if you weren't a moderator on the chat. Well, that's how are we supposed to share? But I guess you gave us the name of it, and we can click on your handle to get to your channel. Oh, you know what, I mean, Brian, what you could do is, when the live stream finishes, you can add a comment to the video with a link to your mini album tutorial. If it won't let you do it in the live chat, then at least it can go there. Oops. Okay. Interesting. Um, what's the charity, Jay? Do you want to tell us a little bit about it? Maybe plug the charity a little. And has your blog hop happened for the charity already? Did I miss it? Sorry, I can't help much. I don't know a ton about blogs. I mean, in the sense of the hop, I'm sure it would be kind of similar to. Should I use? I think on this one, anyways. I think I'm gonna put blue. I'm gonna ink my edges in blue. So Graphic 45 has ink pads now. They're good. They're really juicy. Well, I didn't. Most of the construction and stuff is fast, but I guess if you are gonna do details like this, it will take some time. But if you didn't do all of this, it would go like super duper fast. Oh, thanks, Brian. Yeah, it's crafty fun with friends of LV Handcrafted, but it's just I can drop you a link if you need. It's hard to find. We're a private group, but we're discoverable, so hopefully we come up in searches. But I can I guess since I'm the only one who is allowed to put links in, I guess I just figured because I could, everybody could, but I guess that's not the case. Um, so that's the link to my Facebook group if you want to join, Brian. Really like the fact that they are set up like a grocery store, so it gives you a better feeling. Wait, did I miss something, Jade? Are you telling us about the charity? Because I feel like I missed something. Is it a food bank or tell me more, tell me more. They really What's the name of the charity though? I feel like that's the part that I missed, Jay. I'm trying to scroll back to find it, but I'm having a hard time finding it. So Oh, okay. Yay, mom. Okay. Interesting. Oh, okay. They help a food bank there. Cool. That is so awesome of you to be so involved and to use your talents to help out. your local charities. I think that's awesome. Very cool. This one I'm gonna just go ahead and ink before I forget. I think I'll ink it in green. Middleton Outreach Ministry. Oh, okay. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, let me know when you're kind of closer to figuring out the blog hop if it's, you know, something that's exclusive to your community. But if not, I'm happy to join in the hop if it helps at all. And if not, then I'll follow along and check it out for sure. But if it's kind of like an Instagram hop where we just show, you know, a project that we've made and maybe bring a little bit of awareness to the cause, then yeah, I would love to participate once you know more details. And if I can, I would love to help bring awareness to the charity. I love your comment about it helps clear out some of your cards. I am looking for a local charity to do the same for the exact same reason. Just to, I give away a lot as gift sets, but I still have more. And so it's nice to if I can find somewhere local, then I can just kind of box it up and drive it over to them. Cool, Brian. I'll pop over and accept. Thanks for joining our little crafty community. Let me refresh. Let me try my phone. Did it automatically let you in? Because there's a rule that will automatically approve if I think you're in. Because I don't see the request. So either you're in or somebody else beat me to it and already approved your request to join. Okay, let's see. So I've got my 2 cover pieces. That's the outside, that's the back, that's the front. This is my spine. Here are the sides of the box. So what I'm gonna do is put a little bit of, ooh, I got this a little dirty with ink. Inky fingers. That'll be the inside. I'm gonna put some score tape on 2 edges. So if this is the inside, I want to put it that way. I'm just gonna straighten this out. I'm just giving this a little bit of a curl in the direction that I want. With this paper leather stuff, it's really like you could totally like crunch it up if you really wanted to distress it, and it's gonna hold up just fine. And then, I mean, that's kind of the reason why they call it paper leather, because it's supposed to be like as durable, you know, as leather is, and it's supposed to age really well and all of that good stuff. So so it can take a lot of distressing, and as I said, it can go through your washing machine. And that's another It's another common way that a lot of people will distress their paper leather. I think most places don't like to use the word leather anymore just because it has the animal, connotation. So I think a lot of times it's called fabric paper. Okay, so I've got a bit of my score tape there, and just going to do a fine line of liquid adhesive so that it ends up being nice and permanent. I keep twisting this around. Okay, this is the front, and that's the top. So there we go. So I'm just going to attach this. Oops. So the liquid adhesive is great because score tape is super, super strong and very grabby. So that little bit of liquid adhesive will give me a little bit of time to position, and I need to lift it up a little bit. I have at least a small window of opportunity to do that. And then I'll get that nicely burnished. But the score tape is going to be like fast, nice, permanent hold. So then I'll get the front cover attached like that. So I'll do the same thing, just a little nice strong score tape and just a line of PVA glue. I'm not worried about the glue needing to be acid free since this isn't a mini album, but if it was a mini album, I would definitely look for something that's acid free, especially if it's going to be a page where photos might get attached. I'm actually I didn't do this earlier, but I'm using the lines on my score or mat board here to grid mat to line up this piece so that it's all nice and flush. Okay, so I've got the cover on, so that's how our book's gonna look. And then we just need to put our box in, and then we're almost there. I didn't put on all four corners, but I would definitely recommend if you go back, because I do have some tutorials on this. If you go back and watch my tutorials, I attach this part in a much better way, and it helps to not be so bendy, but we'll make it work. We're crafters after all, so we just go with the flow. Okay, so I'm just gonna do the same thing because this is sort of a structural component of the box, and I should have done it on all of the glue tabs to put a little bit of liquid adhesive. If you watch any of my tutorials, especially my mini album tutorials, I'm like a broken record because double-sided dry adhesive in some climates will actually dry out like completely, and so your project could actually fall apart, and so for anything that you kind of want to hold up over time, you may want to use some liquid adhesive in addition to your dry adhesive if you're going to use it. And if you could just use liquid adhesive but by itself and skip the dry adhesive altogether. But the dry adhesive is nice because it gives you that instant grab. And so with the instant grab, you can keep on working at your project, and it's going to hold, where your liquid adhesive, it might be quick grabbing, but it'll still take some time to completely dry. And if you want the instant grab so that you can just keep on making progress on your project, then I definitely recommend both. PVA glue sounds interesting. I've been trying different adhesives lately. Yeah, PVA is just like your craft glue. So, my glue of choice. I've been trying out different ones too, just to compare, see what all the hype is on some of them. But my favorite all-time glue is probably Lineco pH Neutral, because it's a bookbinding glue, so it's acid-free and it's really cost-effective too. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is look how you could leave it like this and it's a nice finish. What I've been doing is, and just depending on how much longer folks want to stay on stream with me. But what I like to do is just cut a little scrap piece of the same mat board and put it on the inside here. And then I'm going to put another piece of pattern paper on top, because you can see the white edge of the glue tabs here. And it's actually kind of nice, the beveled, kind of surface, because there's the extra raised layer with the glue tabs on the inside there. So you could leave it like this, and I think it's well finished. But if it were me and I was just going to leave it like this, I would probably ink the edges so that you don't see that white core. Although looking at it like this, it actually looks kind of neat. I don't know. So yeah. But what I've been doing on the previous ones I've made is, like I said, extra little scrap piece of mat board and then some pattern paper on top. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cover the sides with some pattern paper. So this is 1 inch tall. And this 12-inch strip is not enough to go all the way around all 4. So I was looking at this earlier. I think there's only two patterns on here that are the same. This one and that one are this is the only pattern that repeats, unfortunately. So I think that's my only option for what I can use for the sides. Yeah, it is a really cool. I mean, at this point, this is I only just bought this die like a couple months ago, maybe, and I've made, I think, this is my 3rd one. And after we're done streaming, I'll probably make another one, maybe 2. Yeah, Jay, and the nice thing is, really, I mean, you can theme this according to your cards if you're selling them, because you could do, if you're selling holiday cards, you could do a holiday box. If you're selling Easter cards, you can decorate it with Easter papers. So I think it's just great. Okay, 1 inch. Did I get that right? Okay, so these are 1 inch tall, and they're just gonna go around the sides like that. And I'm gonna need 2 of them. hope everybody's getting some crafty time in. Really appreciate folks hanging out with me on a Friday afternoon. Last minute live stream. I do have a Crafty Fun live stream episode tomorrow, Saturday at 2 p.m. I'm going to be streaming with Von Marie. You might have seen her makes. She's been posting the Unity Stamps Advent calendar makes to our group. So we're gonna make some tags tomorrow. So you see how the corner looks like that? With all of that kind of exposed sort of middle portion of the mat board. That's what I don't like. So that's why I left it white and I didn't cover it with pattern paper, because instead what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna wrap it with the pattern paper so that we get a nicer finish. And I'm going to, I know I use a lot of maybe some weird stuff, but I'm gonna use, because it's not all strictly like album making stuff, but I'm gonna use some Tyvek. And I buy Tyvek as strips. They come in, that's just a bit of scrap there, but let me see if I have a full strip. Okay, so Tyvek comes, I buy them like this. They come as I buy the wristbands. You can buy them as envelopes as well. And I don't know if they sell them as just plain sheets. They might. But this material is really cool. Specifically, this is meant so that they come in different colors and they're connected like this because it's meant for you to be able to run it through your printer and print some like event details on it. And it's got some adhesive here because the idea is that you would print out maybe some event details and then you would put it on somebody's wrist. And that would like indicate that, they've, paid for their entry, or, they get free drinks at your event, or whatever the case may be. But the reason why I use it in my crafting is because this material is water resistant and it's tear resistant. So I like using it for its tear resistance because it's great to reinforce anything if you're making mini albums, for example. So any hinges or your spine where your pages flip back and forth, anything that moves or kind of flexes the paper, because especially if you're trying to make something that's going to hold up over time, you just want to make sure that it is resistant to tearing and ripping, because it is just paper after all. So if it's an album that gets flipped through a lot, or something that's going to hold a lot of treasured memories, then it may be worth it to reinforce those hinges. Now, the reason why I'm putting it on these corners is not because this is like a flap that's it's fixed. That's not moving. So it's not to prevent that corner hinge from tearing over time, but it's really because this is like a sharp corner. It's really to soften this corner so that when I wrap my pretty pattern paper around that corner, it's not going to have like that hard crease. It's gonna be a little bit of a softer, and I know it's not going all the way to the bottom or all the way to the top, but that's fine. That's kind of close enough. And I think it's just a nice little extra finishing detail. And I kind of feel like for makes like these that the construction is so simple overall. It's nice to, um it gives you the time, I feel, like, to put these, like, little finishing details in, like inking the edges and doing the little, you know, reinforcement and stuff like that. So, I feel like because the construction is so simple, I can spend that little bit of extra time on doing stuff like this, and it doesn't feel like this huge project, you know? Melody. Hi, Melody. How's it going? Thanks for joining today. The wristbands. Yeah, I love these because, they're so convenient. It's already cut down to size. It's 3/4 of an inch wide, so it's just perfect for just, usually if you have like a hinge like this that's gonna fold back and forth, it's just enough to get enough, to put a nice 1/4 inch of tape on both edges, and that's enough, to have it a nice firm stick on both sides, and it's just fantastic. Okay, so I am going to add I forgot about this part. I'm gonna add a magnetic closure. And I didn't realize when I bought this, it actually comes with some adhesive that's already like, this is double-sided adhesive that's cut into a circle. Super convenient. I try really hard not to touch my adhesive. Sometimes I'm more successful than other times. Oh. Mama Pillow says I use matte Mod Podge on those makes. Oh, yeah. Makes are really special. Yeah. Good, good, good tip. Do you prefer the matte over the glossy Mod Podge? Okay, just getting a bit of adhesive on this. Melody says, "Going good, just got off work, so I've missed a lot." Oh, no worries. I'm glad you're here. Um, I am making a book box. And I figured, since I already have a tutorial on my channel, I would just, impromptu come on live and make it. So this is the die that I'm using. It's a scoreboards die that Sizzix puts out. It's designed by Eileen Hall, and it's actually called Book Bucks. So we have the basic box done. So that's the construction of it. Now I'm just working on some finishing things. Like, I want to have a closure, so I'm gonna put a magnet on the side here, and then we'll have. But I want to make sure I get this on before my pattern paper so that the pattern paper covers it. And I just kind of eyeballed. I don't know if that's centered. And then what we'll do is I'll cut another bit of that. I've used some paper leather here, so just cut another strip of paper leather and attach that to the front, and that'll be our little closure for this box. So Mama Pillow says it's almost invisible. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I did not know that they had a matte version. Or maybe that's what I have. What do they have at the Dollar Tree? Because that's that's what I have. I just bought some Mod Podge from the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree has a lot of stuff. Okay, so I'm ready to attach this, which is 1 inch tall. It's the perfect height. And I'm gonna start wrapping her around the sides. So I'm gonna put 1/4 of an inch top and bottom edge. And the other reason why I like to, and sorry to anyone who watches my mini album tutorials, because I say this like all the time, so probably sick of hearing me say it, but I like to, one of the other reasons why I like to use double-sided adhesive and liquid adhesive is because with the double-sided adhesive, you can get it like as close to the edge as possible. And that just prevents like lifting and tearing and whatnot. But when I go to attach it, I also like to squiggle on a little bit of liquid adhesive, but because you know you've got adhesive, pretty much all the way to those outside edges, you can just loosely do like a little squiggle, and you can stay kind of clear from the edges, and that way you don't have liquid glue like oozing out. And because I'm using score tape, which is very grabby and strong, the liquid adhesive gives you a little bit of time to move things too. So I'm considering this like the most visible side, because this is on the spine. So I'm gonna have as much kind of end up there as possible. But I think this is the most visible. So what I'm aiming to do is get this 12-inch strip, and I want it to go around the corner. I don't want to butt up the edge here and have that hard line. So I want a continuous pattern around around both corners. So maybe I'll aim to put the flower sort of in the center. And if I centered my magnet, I'll just aim to put that near my magnet or over my magnet. That works. Okay, so just aiming to get this flush with the top. And try to. Now, the burnishing is tough on the sides here because you can't like push down. So kind of have to push against it from the inside and then push against from the outside. Melodies. Yeah, I know. I know I'm not the only one who does it. I'm sure I'm not the first person to think of it, but it's mainly because I try my darndest to not touch my adhesive. And so, if you want to tear, I mean, you first off, you get a nice clean, straight line. Not that that matters all that much. It's just the adhesive. But that's nice. And it's more importantly, though, is that I can tear my tape without actually having to touch the adhesive and potentially weakening it. So see how it looks a lot nicer with the paper kind of rounded. I'm not sure what I did there in that corner because I shouldn't really be seeing white, but I must not have lined something up right. But that's the beauty of handmade. All right, so there's a little bit here that's fine because I prefer paper be rounded. And I think I'm going to try to overlap it like that, just cover up that so that the pattern continues. And yeah, there's plenty to go around. So I'm going to use the whole thing. I don't mind that there's like seams and stuff on the top and bottom. I just feel like, well, maybe if the top gets seen, I don't think the bottom would get seen all that much, but that could just be me. And this is why I don't like red line tape as much, because I can't use my acrylic block on it. You can't tear through that liner. It's plastic, so you have to You always have to pull out your scissors to use that. And I have a little bit of a mess off to the right of me. I can't find my... Oh, here it is. I was using that because I couldn't find my ergonomic bone folder under my mess. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do that, and I'll just start on this edge and work my way around. And I think I'll just use the whole thing because I don't think I can really save this for much of anything. So it'll overlap quite a bit on the other side there, but that's okay. So just aiming to get it flush the top. Let's see. This isn't gonna be a good repeat of the pattern, but it's the very bottom, so it's probably the least prominent side. So I'm okay with that. And try to burnish this. I was saying earlier that with double-sided dry adhesive that there's always the potential of it drying out completely and then just like losing all of its tackiness. But if you burnish, that helps a lot because it will push the air out, and the air, any exposure to air is what will dry it out. So if you burnish really well, at least you're going to be pushing as much of the air out as possible. And I have a magnet here, so I want to be careful not to burnish too aggressively and have it poke a hole. Okay, let me put this here just so don't forget to make my little latch. Oh, actually, I have to do my latch now before I put on my pretty paper, which I have managed to put somewhere super safe, and I cannot find it. But we're gonna get a little latch going here. Okay, so it's got a piece of... This should be enough. Heather. Heather says, I'm so ordering one of those dies. I'm not trying to sell anyone on any of this. Oh, let's see. I think this is going to be big enough. Look, you don't even need that much. So it just needs to come down enough to cover the magnet and then like be attached enough on the front. So look, this little bit of scrap this is why I keep like all my scraps, because especially this stuff. So this is my paper leather, and this is the hinge. I'm gonna actually, here, I'll just show you. I'm gonna distress, like, I'm just gonna really crinkle it up, and you can see, like, I can't tear this stuff. It's strong. And even if you distress it, so I think the reason why it was called leather, it's hard to tell with the white version, but like you could crumple it, you can crinkle it up, and it just has this really worn look that often people think of leather, like the more like aged it is, the better it looks. So I'm just distressing this so that when I give this away as a gift, whoever gets it doesn't feel like they have to be super precious about it. Like, oh my gosh, it's just paper. It's gonna tear. I have to be, especially on this part, because the magnet is strong. But this will hold up to that. And ooh, Mama Pillow. No, I have not. I need to do this. I've seen it dry embossed to add some, texture to it and a pattern. Um So I just discovered that I guess if you're in the live chat, it won't let you copy links into the chat. Apparently only moderators can do that. But Mama Pillow, if you can find that video and when the stream is over, if you don't mind sharing it as a comment on this video, I would love to check that out. I think I want to round it more. Heather says, I'm pricing them. This has been, oh, really? A project I've wanted to do for a while. Yeah. Heather, I know you donate a lot of your cards, but I don't know if you give them away as gift sets and whatnot, because I don't know that you would want to. You donate a lot of cards, and I don't know that you would want to be making boxes for all of them. But I just think it's so awesome for gifting cards because it is the perfect size. Oh, no way. Okay. I'll just do a YouTube search and add spellbinders. I'm sure it'll come up. All right. I am attaching my magnet. I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid adhesive to my closure here. Just want to make sure that it's lined up. If it's not directly centered, it's not the end of the world to me anyways. And I don't think I'm gonna cover it on this side. Maybe I will. It's not, let's just take the time and do it. Because it's just well, if I cover it, I would be covering it with just paper. I can always decide that and add it later. So for now, what I'll do is get it attached to our front cover. We're pretty much done, folks. I mean, once I get this on, I know I keep on saying this is such a fast project, and yet I'm at almost 2 hours into my stream, and I'm not even done yet. But we did a lot of little finishing details, and it's nice to kind of take time and just chat with you and see what's going on and what you guys are up to. Let's see. Heather says, I was thinking of gifting or craft. Oh yeah. Heather, do you sell your cards? I might have put too much. Oh, no, it's not too much. Okay, good. So I'm going to aim to get a little bit of double-sided adhesive right on the edge of my front cover too. Just make sure this is straight. Just so that we get as close to that outside edge as possible. Yeah, totally, Mama Pillow. I was saying earlier that it's a great two-in-one gift because when they're done, and it's great for gifting other stuff too. It's a nice size box, but, personally, I bought it to gift cards, but exactly like you said, once they're done using the cards, they still have a really nice box that's well constructed, made to last, and they can use it as a trinket box and store whatever else they wanna store. So, that's why it's a gift in and of itself, I think, and how often can you say that about, like, gift boxes? So, I mean, I think it's for sure one that people would wanna, they'd wanna hold on to it. Alright, so I'm gonna bring this up, and I don't wanna pull too tightly, but I wanna make sure it's caught. This is why the liquid adhesive on top of score tape is good. Need that little bit of adjustment. All right, that feels good. Now I can burnish this. Okay. Now the big question is, folks, do you remember the little bit of pattern paper that I picked up for the front? I've made such a mess, like right off of camera. I do not know where that is. Oh, I hope this is it. No, that's not. Ah, I found it. Voila. Let's see. Heather says, I haven't, but I might do a fair in February. Oh, cool. Oh, that's right. I remember you mentioning that. I think you should totally do it. And if you do, let me know how it goes. I've never done a fair. I've never sold any of my cards. Partly because I feel like it's a lot of time and effort and cost just to be a vendor at those fairs, and I'm always curious to know whether it's worth it at the end of the day. Like, is it profitable? Is that the Sizzix Scorpio? No, it's not the Skinny Mini. It's one second. I had it here. It's called Bookbox, and let me give you the actual product number. It's 665873. I think if you check my tutorial on my channel, I might have a link to it. But it's the book box, and it's different from the Skinny Mini. This one, I do have the Skinny Mini, so I'm gonna do a tutorial on this one because I haven't constructed it yet, and I don't have a tutorial on my channel. But this one, it looks thinner, and thinner this way too. So I don't think this is going to fit cards in the same way that the this one does. So yeah, if you're looking, it's definitely different, and it's just called Bookbox. Oh, I'm missing some chats. Okay, Mama Pillow says yeah, exactly. If it's something that's useful and if it feels well constructed, I think people are more likely to keep it. We don't have that many down here. Oh, that was so long ago now I don't know what that's in reference to. Is that craft fairs? I'm guessing that's craft fairs. My friend and I may split a table. Oh, that's a good deal. Okay. You're gonna definitely be profitable then. I've heard that there are some places where booths cost like hundreds of dollars. So, um, with that, it just seems hard to make that in that make that profitable. Mama Pillow says, I used to do craft fairs with a friend. You need someone to be there so you can go to the bathroom and walk around. Boring and a lot of hauling. Made some money, but wouldn't do it again. Oh, that's a good practical tip, Mama Pillow. Okay. Bathroom breaks are critical. It's good to plan for that in advance. Um, but I love that you shared your experience that overall you didn't think it was worth it enough to do again. Hi, girl. How's it going? Yeah, I just decided impromptu to go live because I need to make this because it's going to be a Christmas present, and I what I do is with my leftover holiday cards and my other cards too, whatever, but specifically for the holidays, whatever we don't like actually sign and send out, I just like group them into sets and then give them away. But just like maybe like a month or two ago, pretty recently, I found this book box die, and it's the perfect size for A2 cards and envelopes. And so we already sent out some of our Christmas gifts to family that we needed to ship the gifts to. And so the 2 boxes that I've made already are in the mail, and I have to make at least 1 more, probably 2. And since I already have a tutorial on my channel, I figured I just last minute decided I would just go live. And I was prepared if nobody was gonna be here with me. But all of you lovely friends found me and are so kind to spend a Friday afternoon keeping me company. We're done, like actually done. So check that out. So I will actually do one last thing, but totally optional, but I like to do it because again, I know I've been on stream for like 2 hours now, but this does go relatively quickly. And what I'm gonna do is, I think the inside looks fine the way it is, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna I mentioned this earlier. I'm just gonna cut a little extra bit of mat board to fill this out so that it's nice and level on the inside, and then I'm gonna put another piece of pattern paper on top. And so I don't know. Okay, so here's this. Delise, how's it going? Are you crafting? Oh wait, what's so funny? I missed. Oh, Heather says the craft table or booth is $75. Yeah. Delise is saying 100. Yeah, I've heard it. Oh, I've always heard in like $100+. Oh, this must be the funny comment. My friend and I put our ugliest craft project ever on a table once as a joke. It was the first thing that sold. Isn't that a relief though? Because that just means that the rest of what you've got is gonna like go lickety split. So let's see. Hard to measure. So I think this ends up being, I think I can just cut it because it doesn't have to be perfect. 3.5 by maybe 3.5 by 5.5 is enough. Aw. Thank you, Heather. I was just gonna watch your too. Oh, thanks, Delise. You're so supportive. I really appreciate that you check out my. Oh, folks, what did I say? 3.5. 3.5 by whatever that is. Okay. Thanks, Delise, for the support. As I was saying, I always appreciate that you watch my videos. If you're not subscribed to Delisa's channel, you should. She is Stamper Girl here on YouTube. Oh, you were working on Artful Angel stuff? Cool. So at this point, yeah, I am pretty much done, but I want to do a little bit because I think this one's gonna go to my mom. And she definitely appreciates all these like little she loves handmade stuff. She used to be a seamstress and she always got a kick out of making her own clothes, and then, she would get comments from her coworkers and they would like want her to make them one of whatever it was, because she made blouses, she made skirts, really, everything, and clothes for us kids too. And she kind of relished that whole having one of a kind fashion. So anyone who wanted, she was willing, but she was like, well, you're gonna have to like, pick the fabrics and all of that. And it was more work than other people wanted to do. But she was always relieved because she was like, I was always glad because I like being the only one who has this. And that's the beauty of handmade, because we're making, even if you batch make and you're making a bunch of these to sell, they're all still going to be unique. So it's really awesome. Handmade gifts are awesome in that way. Below. Learn her skills. My great grandma was a seamstress too. Yeah, people would love bring her. Yeah, absolutely. I can sew, but I have to have the pattern where my mom, and it sounds like probably your great grandma too, she could look at something and then understand the mechanics. You know what I mean? Of like how it's put together, but not just that, like how you need to cut the fabric, because there's like the draping, of how the fabric drapes and stuff like that that may not be completely obvious. And I think that's something that is hard to learn. It's more from experience when you've sewn, a lot of things and you've seen a lot of patterns, and you kind of know the mechanics of how fabric works and how to sew different things. I got into making purses and sewing purses, which she was really impressed when I made a purse for her, and because that was something she was always she had always done clothes and like accessories and stuff like that, and she never did purses. And so she was actually really impressed when I made a purse for her. And when I go back to the East Coast to visit, we always like to sew together. So it's definitely a good skill to have for sure, and fun also. Pattern drafting is worth learning. Yeah, you can make. Yeah. Well, and that's a good point too, because you can, when you make your own fill in the blank, you can really customize it to your own taste, your own size, And, like, the options for fabric out there are infinite, it seems. And so it's really I don't know how this happened. I either missed a spot or something got pulled up, but there's some white showing. Um, but yeah, then you can customize it to fit you because everybody's body type is different, right? And so, and sometimes you can't alter, something that's store bought to to fit right. So if you know how to do it, like um figuring out the pattern and creating it is yeah, I totally agree. It's definitely a skill worth learning. It sounds like you are quite the seamstress too, Mama Pillow. Love purses, worth the time and fun. Yes, yes, because you can finish in a yeah, yeah. I purses are a lot of fun. Delise, you should definitely try it. There's lots of free patterns as well, and this totally counts. Are you serious? A prom dress? Um, and I can't believe you made your own prom dress. I was not my mom taught me to sew, and I kind of could at that age, like, middle school, high school, but I don't think I would have worn anything that I made. Not not out in public anyways. I if I made it at that age, it was more like jammies. Although I once, my mom taught me how to knit, and I once knit like a little sweater vest kinda thing, and that actually turned out kind of well. My mom thought it turned out well. And my mom would not shy from being brutally honest with me. Okay, I'm trying to use up scraps because I don't want to cut into a new sheet. This has some greens in it, so and it'll be nice. It'll brighten up the inside a little, I think. And this was then we had the yellow on the cover, so I feel like that's a good one. Okay, so this is directional. Yeah, I'm willing to bet it was pictures. If you have pictures, Delise, I don't know the best place to share it, but I would love to see it. Your prom dress. Um, no way. For a fashion shoot? That's amazing. So you're basically a designer. You're a fashion designer. I bought a wedding dress pattern and a cocktail dress. Oh my gosh. That's talent. That is talent when you can, because not all patterns are, compatible, you know? So the fact that you were able to take 2 patterns and get them to work together, that's amazing. I need to measure this. So, just so that if you're at all curious, so the inside of this box measures 4 3/4. So you can see it's like a full half inch wider than your USA 2. So it's going to be plenty big for your envelopes. So it's 4 3/4 by about 5 7/8. So again, it's about half an inch um, taller and wider than your USA 2. So I think that that's what makes it so perfect for gifting card sets. And it's gonna totally depend on how thick your card is, but one set that we just gave away was I think 8 cards and their matching envelopes. So 8 cards and 8 envelopes, and it fit just fine. So I'm cutting this to 5 3/4. by 4.5. Wish me luck that I measured that right. Hey, check that out. And that's going to be the inside bottom of our box. Uh-oh, can't get it out now. I had a high school friend that was a fashion photographer. Oh, cool. Oh, not as cool as it sounds. Why not? Why not? Like, is it like the type of photography that just makes it hard to capture? Or is it just clothes? Because you gotta make the person look good, but you gotta make the clothes look good too. My husband is a graphic artist on Halo, the video game, and actually one of his coworkers was a fashion photographer in a former life. I mean, he still does photography, but I don't think he does fashion photography anymore. I think it's more of a hobby now. But he did eventually get out of that and started doing, graphical art for video games. So I'm not, maybe it is just a really not so cool job. Oh, your prom just took 3 months. Yeah, I believe it. Totally believe it. Okay, Delise, I really need to see some pictures. Definitely need to see some pictures. The beading work, I gotta see it. Inking the edges. Thanks. I agree. It's just a nice finishing touch. My design, my dress. Wow, that's awesome. I want to see pictures of that too. I know you have to have some. I don't know the best place for you to share it though. Cuz unfortunately YouTube doesn't let us touch photos and stuff. Um the crafty group, we do have a Friday night chat group. That might be a fun place to share photos. Just dropping it in, hoping for the best. So this is why it didn't really matter when I was cutting that middle piece, because I knew I was going to cover it. But by putting that in there, I don't have like a divot, because otherwise there would be as I'm burnishing, it's nice to have this middle area glued down to something, and it's not gonna create a crease where there's the difference between the mat board that is the glue tabs along the 4 sides and the bottom of the box. So now that we kind of brought that up a little bit and filled in that center, I can just burnish right across, and it's nice and flush. All right, so I'm actually duns now. All the finishing touches complete. Look at that. And let me see. Now if I was Delise, I would have stacks of ready-made card bases. I only have the one here. But there you can see USA 2 size card. And the envelopes aren't that much bigger. Let me see if I have some here. Yeah, I do. Check it out. Look at me. Should have been prepared, but so look at that. See? Envelopes fit in just fine. A little room to spare too. So I think that's exactly why I got this, but obviously it's roomy enough, and it's a 1 inch tall or thick, and so you can fit more than just cards in here. It's a nice size for anything. I bet you can still remember how sore your arms were after beating. No way. You must have photos. The pics don't, yeah. Well, I would definitely, I can definitely imagine, that any work of art, I feel like seeing it in person is, you can just appreciate it so much more, all the details. Um, I was beating into a black dress where beads and sequins were black. Oh my gosh, or transparent. Wow, um, that is so much hard work. I I I don't think I had that sort of, work ethic as a as a high schooler. Like, I was studious, I did my work, but for something like that, I bought my prom dress. I didn't even ask my mom to make it for me. She would have gladly, but I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be too much work." Oh, thank you. Yeah, the box is fun. Um And, like, if you look at it just in terms of pattern paper because of the mat board being colored on one side, there's just this little bit of pattern paper, which I think was, something like 5.5 by 6.5. Yeah, here, it's 5 inches wide by 6 inches, 6.5, sorry, tall on the outside. So 2 bits of, pattern paper there, and I think I did this upside down. Yeah, that's upside down. Oh, well, and if you were watching and you saw me doing that, why didn't you tell me? Uh, but that's the beauty of handmade. Um, but yeah, a little bit of pattern paper there, a little bit of pattern paper there, 1-inch strip all the way around, and then this was totally optional because I think it still looked good without it, but, just a little bit of pattern paper on the inside, so not a ton of paper, and it's great, easy to do also. Uh After I spent all the money on the materials, it was making it or bust. Yeah, yeah. I totally at that point, you're kind of, you're kind of all in, you're committed, right? Yes, for sure. They're handy. They are definitely handy to have. Okay, oh, Heather, I was listening, okay. Yeah, so you didn't have eyeballs on me. That's okay. It's fine. I think what's interesting is honestly, I don't think most people would notice, but my mom is the kind of person, and I think I was hinting towards this a little bit when Mama Pillow was talking about sewing and looking at a pattern or looking at a dress and then creating the pattern from it. She likes to look at things and like carefully look at things to see how they're constructed. She will notice this is upside down. Well, she will notice if she puts her glasses on. If she doesn't put her glasses on, then, I'm getting away with it scot-free because she won't. Because the place that's makes it really, I mean, that butterfly makes it kind of obvious, but what's really, really obvious is that there's text, and the text is upside down. So but she would totally have to, have her glasses on to be able to read that text. Because that butterfly, it's facing that way, so I think it's okay. That butterfly is facing that way. Okay. This is facing that way. So the butterflies are facing all sorts of ways. It's the text that gives it away. It does. Like I said, it's handmade. So it does make it special. My mom would totally notice and say something. Yep. You and my mom should hang out. Because yeah, my mom would totally see it, she would notice it, and she would be like, "Did you know? Did you know? Did you see this?" And I would be like, "Yeah," after the fact. After the fact, I noticed. Mama Pillow says, "I didn't notice until you pointed it out." Yeah, mainly, and I think that's why I kept on having to turn it because mainly it's the print, it's the typography that's, like, in these little areas, because if you look at that butterfly, he's sort of upwards, he's sort of facing upwards, this one's sort of facing upwards, the big one's facing down, some of the other ones are facing down, but the butterflies are going all sorts of, ways, and so I don't think it's so much the direction of the butterflies that gives it away, it's the text, and the text is kind of all over in places, but thankfully, it's the bottom of the box. So it's gonna be on the tabletop, and nobody's gonna see it. Um so thanks everybody for joining me. Totally didn't know what to expect really because this was so last minute, but I had a lot of fun chatting with everybody. So thanks for hanging out. Oh, this is how I ended up using the matte Mod Podge. Had to cover something and liked it. Yeah, cool. But it's matte, but it's clear though. Right, Mama Pillow? Because Mod Podge, generally, I mean, it goes on that milky white, but it's still clear. Um, is that right, or am I thinking of something different? Um, okay, I'm gonna hang it on this live stream a little bit just because I'm hoping. Okay, yes. Yes, it is clear. Okay, cool. All right. Thanks everybody. So, I know this was a long stream, but we got it done. I might make one more, because I think I have 2 more card sets. So, um, when the stream's over, I'll try to grab links to stuff, if anyone is curious. Oh, you already ordered it? Awesome, Heather. I'm really not trying to sell anyone on this, it's just I'm super excited about it, and like I said, this is the 3rd one that I've made, so and I think I've used graphic 45 papers for all of them. Um, I did, it was so long ago, I don't even remember. Oh, I used Little Things, I think. Um, oh, yes, okay. Yes, I will link, I'll try to grab links to everything and put it in the video description. Good night, Mama Pillow. Thanks for hanging out. Um, Delise, it's this die. It's a Sizzix scoreboards die from Eileen Hall, and it's I don't know if you care about the actual product number, but it's 665-873, and it's called Bookbox. But there is a you might stumble on this one first because this is more recently released, because I think this is what came up first maybe when Heather was doing a search for it. This is also a book box, but this one is it's her skinny mini. There's a glare, but it's her skinny mini book box, and I don't have a tutorial yet on this one because I haven't made it, but I'm gonna make this one next after I'm done with the Christmas crafting that I need to do, because I think I need one more of these. I have one more set of cards that I'm gifting, but then I want to make one of these to see for myself. I mean, I'm sure somewhere on here it says the dimensions, but oh yeah, okay, here we go. So assembled size, it says 6 3/4 of an inch. I think that's tall by 3 7/8 by 7/8 of an inch. Oh my gosh, it's so marginally different. I'm not sure. I need to make it. Because this is 6.5. So the skinny mini is 6 3/4. So just a quarter of an inch taller. This is 5 inches. Oh, this is the big difference. So instead of 5 inches wide, it's 3 7/8. So basically 4 inches. And then instead of 1 inch thick, it's 7/8 of an inch. So yeah, it's barely different. Yes, you need to make it. Yeah, of course I'm gonna make it. I have it, so I'm definitely gonna make it. It's just perplexing why I bought them both because the dimensions aren't that different. Um, thanks so much, Lynn. I will watch back when I get my supplies. Oh yeah. Um, don't watch this stream, Heather, because it's 2 hours. I have a tutorial on this. So watch the tutorial because it'll be less time. And it's just straight to the point with all the chit chat. Although I'll be honest, I sometimes watch our crafty fun live streams on replay and they are a hoot. They're so funny to watch. It's so fun to kind of relive the experience. um yeah, so I'm definitely gonna make this one, and then Delise, I showed this at the very beginning too. This one's older. It's retired, so I don't think you can buy it anymore unless somebody is selling it on eBay. It's a trinket box and it's really cute. It's small, but it will store 6 Ferrero Rocher chocolates. I know because that's what I used it for to gift some chocolates as a holiday present. So okay, this tutorial is coming up next. I'll link to everything, Heather, in this video, the mat board, the paper leather, the die you already have, but I'll still link to it in case anyone else is interested. And I'll also link to the other tutorial that's a little bit shorter and just more, focused on just making the project. So that way you'll have all of that in this live stream, and for anyone else who watches this live stream, um, it'll all be in one place there. Got me a chocolate. Yeah, we were talking earlier that Mama Pillow, I think, made the comment that chocolate is a good rubric for measuring. So kind of like how you measure the cost of things in the number of stamp sets. I measure boxes and the size of boxes by how much chocolate they can hold. Uh, I'm going to set up my shot box for the live next week. Oh, cool. Um, the live next week. Is there a live next week? It's not next week. I have a live stream tomorrow. This will be Crafty Fun with me and Von Marie. And then Delise and I have a mystery craft along on December 31st. And Heather, what you were talking about, you shouldn't be talking about yet if you are, because that's later and not yet announced. And and so Mystery Craft Along is going to be on Delisa's channel. So definitely that's going to be a fun one because the mystery craft alongs are always fun. And so I still have to delete. I'm scrapping my original plan for what I was going to do for mystery craft along. So I'm at the ideation stage, but I'll get it done, and so we'll be ready on December 31st. We're not crafting at midnight. We are crafting at I think it's scheduled, so definitely go by the schedule. I don't wanna even say because I don't wanna confuse things because I don't think I remember the time correctly. But, that one's already scheduled on Delisa's channel, so if you want to join the mystery craft along, definitely pop on over to Delisa's channel and subscribe, but then also look for the mystery craft along, live stream, and you can actually click to be notified so that when the live stream, like when we actually go live, you'll get a notification before, and that way you won't miss it. Okay, everybody. Um, Thanks again for hanging out with me and keeping me company while I finish up some of my holiday crafting. And I hope that if you're available, join me tomorrow, Saturday, at 2 p.m. Pacific time for Crafty Fun with Friends episode 4. So good night, everybody. If I don't see you in the live stream tomorrow, have a fantastic weekend. Heather, get some rest. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. And until next time, bye. Night, everybody.